Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Virgo for August 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Check out what's new in my blog. If you would love to learn astrology, check out my growing list of astrology education options. Also, I have all kinds of other self-development tools and great things on my site. So what's going on in the month of August? We have Mars retrograde, but going direct finally. We have Mercury retrograde, but going direct. We also have the third in a series of 3 eclipses happening. We have 2 outer planet trines and a series of annoying squares that are going to be happening, but these beautiful outer planet trines are definitely going to supersede, bringing major magic. So I'm going to talk about all of this, but first I want to talk about some things specific for Virgo. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is birthdays. If your birthday is at the end of August, then happy birthday! I love birthdays. Birthdays are an amazing astrological power period where the sun is exceptionally receptive to your desires. Things like vision boards, whether they're on Pinterest or if you cut things out of magazines, basically creating something that you can look at and work with that embody the energies of the things you want to create. The sun in the sky represents the things that you want. All the planets each have their representations, and the sun represents desire. So when the sun in the sky gets to the same point as the sun in your chart, it creates this portal for your desires. That's where birthday wishes come from. Birthday wishes are astrological. So you, according to brilliant astrologer Jan Spiller, you actually get 10 birthday wishes, not 1. And doing things like a vision board or other envisioning on your birthday can supercharge your desires. So definitely watch my video. If you search for Making Wishes Come True Annie anywhere, my video will come up and it will help you to maximize this power period. So happy birthday. On the topic of birthdays, for those of you, okay, this is going to be staggered. So depending on when your birthday is, about 4, sometimes up to 6 weeks before your birthday, the sun moves through your 12th house, okay? When it's moving through there, sometimes it can be a time that's like funky. Not everyone will have this experience, but I've seen it enough for myself and for other people that I like to mention it. Sometimes people feel weird, uncomfortable, sad, in avoidance, just kind of off before their birthday. And I believe that's because of this sun moving through the 12th house. The 12th house is like the attic of our lives. It's our deep subconscious mind where there's everything, all that is there, but things that we avoid, things that we're unaware of that are affecting our lives are in this space. So when the sun comes and lights it up, it can be very uncomfortable. But it's purposeful because the sun is trying to bring you to your fears, bring you to the things you don't want, so that you can better use the energy for creating what you do want. So even if you're watching for your rising sign, if Virgo's your rising sign, whether it's your sun or your rising sign, this time of year represents a new cycle, a new birth, rebirth. And the more you go deep into the muck, the more you can emerge refreshed, having cleared up loose ends and cleared up things that were not serving you so that you can move forward. Okay, so if you feel weird, some people are tempted to party it away and just avoid it. Some people think that this is just because they're getting older and they get reflective because the time is passing. And in some ways that's true, but a lot of it's because the sun is accentuating your 12th house. So you can do something active with that by actively facing your fears, actively doing things like psychotherapy, past life regression, hypnosis, working with affirmations and subliminals, doing energy clearing, trauma clearing, things like that are especially useful at this time. Okay, so now I want to talk about this major magic that is a theme for Virgos at this time, and that is because of the beautiful aspects that some of the beautiful aspects that are occurring make to your placements. So everyone's going to be experiencing this magical grand Earth trine. A trine is the most fabulous, harmonious aspect in astrology. And a grand trine means that 3 planets are making this 120-degree angle to one another. So we're going to have a grand trine in Earth. Because Virgo is an earth sign and because a Virgo planet is involved, this is very much accentuating the energy of Virgo. Especially, and this is true for all of you, so none of you are being left out here, and actually every placement in the zodiac is going to experience this beautiful placement. But the earth signs really have an extra boost. And of the earth signs, if your birthday is in the earlier time, like August 23rd, 24th, 25th, like the first, we'll call it week or so of the sign, or the first 7-ish days of the sign, you're going to be even more blessed and affected. Now, since this is an earth sign, this has very much to do with practical, mundane, material things being brought into manifestation. The earth signs are the ones that help to bring things into this third dimensional form. So whenever you have a combination of the planets, and 2 of these are outer planets, and 1 is the sun, so that's obviously closer to us, it's like big pictures can be coming into big fruition. And because these outer planets take a while to move around, they're together for a long time when they come together. So this grand earth trine is going to be in very strong effect from the middle of August through the middle of September. So even though the sun coming in to make it this grand trine happens around the 25th or 26th of August, so there's extra special magic there, this whole second half of August and first half of September is just covered with this beautiful manifestation, stability, fruition, tangible things. So look out for that. The other trine that I'm so excited about is this Neptune and Pisces trine. And again, I'm excited about this for everybody because this is pure magic. And this is a story that started at the end of 2017. It got really strong again, although it was constantly working in the Dropbox, in the backdrop. It's constantly working in the backdrop, but it got really strong again at the end of May, beginning of June, and then now here in the middle of August 19th, it's going to have its final story. So you might see something that was brewing really strongly at the end of last year, and then it kind of went away, and then it kind of came up again in May or June, and then it kind of, it's just like sitting. This August trine might bring it back out, or bring a final conclusion, or bring a solution, or bring something. So this is going to, again, affect all people, but it especially blends beautifully with water and earth signs because it's a water trine, and water and earth move together in these magical ways. And then it's especially, even on top of that, beautiful for anybody who has close to 15 degrees in their placements. Okay, so if you have, like, especially September 17th, around there, it's going to hit your placements exactly. But we'll say within 5 degrees, so like September 7th through September 12th, for you it's going to be even more supercharged. If you have any placements, if it's your sun sign between September 2nd and the 12th-ish, or if you have any Virgo placement near 15 degrees, we'll say from 10 to 20 degrees. Okay, so you can look and see. If you're not sure about that, you can run a free birth chart online, look at your different Virgo placements and look at the degrees next to them to see. This would be an eye-opening experience if you're not familiar with that. Anyway, I'm an educator. My work is in teaching. So more than the reading of it, I want you to be able to learn how to use this tool for yourself. So I'm always encouraging you to go deeper into the next way that you can bring astrology into your life. So we have all of that going on. Now I want to talk about the manifestations of this third eclipse. So if you've been listening to my reports, then you know we had 3 eclipses, 2 in July, 1 in August, 2 solar eclipses, 1 lunar eclipse. We had a solar eclipse at the beginning of July, a lunar eclipse at the end of July, and then the second solar eclipse on August 11th at 18 degrees of Leo. In my June report, I talked in depth about where Virgos could see that manifesting for them. In the July report, I talked about where the lunar eclipse at the end of July would be manifesting for you. And now in this August report, we're going to talk about where the August eclipse can be manifesting for you. Just because by the time August comes, July is over, from the perspective of the eclipses, it's not over, because an eclipse as an astronomical event happens on one day, but an eclipse as an astrological event takes place over time, and there are cycles. And really the stories that are coming up now started at the beginning of 2017 and go well into 2019. So we're like mid-story. We're closing one chapter, opening another chapter. So there's that timeline that goes on with eclipses. There's also time frames within the eclipses. So a month or even 4 to 6, sometimes more weeks before and after an eclipse, you can get news coming in. So here in August, besides all these other things we have going on, you can still be having manifestations from the July eclipses and manifestations from the August eclipses. So it's just a very powerful time. So you definitely want to educate yourself about that with those videos. So now we'll talk about where this August 11th solar eclipse at 18 degrees of Leo will hit for Virgos. Okay, so if you're in the first half of the sign, say birthday is in the first couple of weeks, or the first 15-ish or so degrees if you're watching for your rising sign or your moon sign, you're going to have this happen in the 12th house. The second half of the sign, or second half of the degrees, you know, from like 16 to 29 or so, you're going to have this, I guess it would be like 15 to 29, and the first would be 0 to 14. In any case, this will be happening for you in the 11th house. The reason why I differentiate these is because if you actually look at the chart, for an early degree placement and a late degree placement, and sometimes even the middle degree placements, they look very different because you base a chart on the degree. So if you're reading a horoscope and you run it for 0 degrees, then that's going to be very accurate for people close to 0 degrees. But what about the people that are later? Their chart's going to look different. So that's why I break it down for you that way. So what happens when we have a solar eclipse in the 12th house for the first half of you all? New opportunities, breakthroughs, new seeds being planted, windows being open in the 12th house. And the 12th house has to do with your connection with your subconscious mind. We have an eternal creation central located within our deep subconscious mind. And we're creating constantly, whether we're aware of it or not. We're constantly creating from our subconscious mind. So the more you become in touch with what's in there, the more you can understand how what you're creating is related to what's in there. So this is ancestral stuff. This is, you know, like really genetic things we can see running down family lines. This is the cosmic consciousness, so all of humanity, all that is. This is, you know, past life stuff, if you believe in that. This is all of those things, psychology, things that happened in your childhood, all of that stuff that's affecting our lives now, that's under the surface, is there. Only 10 to 20% of the things that are things that we're aware of. So there's 80 to 90% of all that is out there that we do not know about. And the same ratio stands for the things in our subconscious mind. So we are consciously trying to do this, okay? But we have a subconscious program, and in many cases a saboteur, that's working against that, okay? So if you want to align your unconscious mind with your conscious mind to be a more powerful creator in your life, co-creator in your life, then you have to work with these realms. And that's exactly what this eclipse wants to do for you. Now, even if you're not in that first half, what I'm describing is still really active for you, because for all of you, you either have now or are about to have North Node, Sun, Mercury, really focusing on this 12th house. So this 12th house is being highlighted whether the eclipse is hitting there for you or not. Okay, so that's why what I'm saying here is relevant for everybody. So past life regression, psychology, you know, deep inner work, prayer, meditation, artistic things, anything where you're connecting to people or spirits that are not in this dimension, multi-dimensional living awarenesses. I call them the whatnots, the things that communicate with you that you can't see very readily. All of those things, trauma, lots of trauma, addictions, you know, genetic difficulties or blessings are all in this, I call it the Harry Potter house. You know, this is the place where we realize that our worst demons are within us, and that the things outside of us that seem to be bothering us are really holographic representations of the inner planes. So this eclipse and these other transits give you this amazing capacity to shift how you see things, how you do things, heal addictions, change genetic stories, break karmic patterning, and open your life up to so much more magic than you even know what to do with. Now, for the rest of you middle to late placements who might not have the eclipse in this area, you'll have the eclipse in the 11th house. So that means new things, new possibilities, or a continuation of a storyline with large organizations, groups, teams, leadership, like leading a group or being part of a group, friends, acquaintances, technology, the internet, anything having to do with the greater good or the community. So you might see manifestations in those, especially in the second half of the placements. Now, for you middle and late degree placements, besides having the eclipse there, you also still have a lot of planetary energy there. So this 11th house is going to be very busy for you all. So these are the things that are most on my mind for Virgo placements now. And I want to go to talk more about the dates to watch, where these minor annoyances, these squares, are just kind of going to be annoying us all month, but then also these other transits and spiritual principles to have in your heart to navigate through to maximize these transits, plus other things of note. So the theme of the month for August 2018 for all signs is magical alignments and abundant blessings. And that is for a bunch of different reasons. We have so many things going on now culminating into these magical potentials. So we've got Mars retrograde and then going direct around between the 26th and 28th of August. We have Mercury retrograde, and that was starting July 26th, running through August 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. We have the new moon solar eclipse in Leo. That's going to be on August 11th. We've got 2 outer planet trines, so there's magical things going on there. So we have a full moon in Pisces at 3 degrees on August 26th. So these are a lot of things that are going on. So I want to just give you a little recap of how to use these energies well and hit a couple of dates to note. Also note that the information that I'm giving you, if you are better with written and looking at things visually, you can get a written version of what I'm describing, plus more details about the general transits and aspects for August and every month when you sign up for my free newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. When you sign up at anniehelpsyou.com, you'll get a resend of all the newsletters I've sent for recent times, so you can catch up with what's going on. And then, of course, I always send these out a month early so you have them for your planning purposes, so you know the good days, the dicey days, and things like that to make your plans. So the eclipses and the retrogrades are both increasing the odds that things worked of, dreamed of, and planned on in the past will come to fruition now. This is a major time of continued manifestation. The retrogrades are not good for certain things, which you can check out on my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and also check out on my YouTube channel. If you put in Annie Botticelli YouTube, I have lots of videos about Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, on the things to avoid during these transits. But there are a lot of things that these retrogrades are really amazing for. And one of them is to let things come to you, is to be the spider. It's like you've woven your web, and maybe you're also weaving a web for future catches in the future, but it's in the backdrop. But you're just letting things come in. You're relaxing, you're stressing the best way you can, you're not forcing things, you can be comfortably productive, but it's more about being the spider and letting your food come to you. Another theme of this month is taking a break from the norm in big and small ways. Even something as simple as driving down a different street to go to work builds new neuronal pathways in your brain. And not only is that good for the longevity of your mental capacities, it's also, when you light up new neuronal pathways in your brain, it activates new energy in your field to bring in new things to you, to break out of old, a matrix, an old matrix. So you can do things different in a small way, or you could do things different in a big way. There's an example that I want to give you about this artist that I know, who is very detailed in his painting, but he was stuck. He wasn't getting paid for his creative work, and sometimes it would take him years to complete a painting. Of course, if you see the painting, it would be like, wow, you can't even believe that somebody could create that, especially with a small paintbrush. But he was stuck. And so during this cycle of the retrograde, he started watching Bob Ross. I don't know if you know Bob Ross, the epic Bob Ross with his epic hair, but you can look him up on YouTube. He basically teaches you how to paint landscapes, and you can watch him paint this amazing landscape picture in like 20 minutes. It's crazy. So he started watching Bob Ross and then started applying this very fast using of the artistic skills to get in and get out and finish things. And because of that, things unlocked for him, and he's had this whole new opportunity for being paid for his artistic work, when before he was stuck in the same old way. But that's how you can use, that's an example of how you can use these retrograde energies to just break from the norm, to open yourself up for more opportunities now from the eclipses and other things, and also in the future. So definitely check out my Mars retrograde blog and video. Definitely check out my Mercury retrograde video. But do know that this month we are carrying those energies, but both of those planets are going direct. So I gave you those dates earlier. If you're traveling now or ever, and you are interested in seeing what the astrology for your travel time is, things to look out for, things to be aware of, you can check out my website, Astrology Kiss Travel Bliss, and I do monthly travel astrology reports on there. Okay, so this long series of retrogrades that we've had for months could be wearing on you, and your patience could be running thin. This plus this notable amount of squares, so I'm calling it minor annoyances with these squares, but major blessings because of these, the solar eclipse and the outer planets coming together in beautiful configuration. But just know that you're going to have a little bit of an open boosting time. So even though the personal planets being retrograde are not going to end this long sequence until like December, at the end of August, beginning of September, you'll have a little bit of a break from the deep retrograde energies, okay? So if certain things have to bubble up, effervescence, just bubbling up, you might notice some momentum and some things starting to pick up at that point. In general, issues with anger at present or past situations can come up strongly, so the more you can not act from a charged space, the more you can prevent yourself karmic repercussions. And also adopting the spiritual recognition of divine timing over your own timing is a major theme that the astrology of this month wants you to bring into your forefront. Everything is happening just as it's supposed to, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to hit a couple of highlights of dates to watch. August 1st, we've got a square. Tension can create breakthroughs here, but any way you can break free from something, just try to do it with care and not with anger. August 6th, we have another square, the Sun and Jupiter. So you can feel very proud and capable with this transit, but depending on how you bring that feeling out to the world, maybe it won't be well received. So just kind of watch it, try to tend to not overdo on any level, including spending, food and drink and substances and things like that. On August 7th, we have Uranus going retrograde. That starts at 2 degrees of Taurus and it goes retrograde back to 28 degrees of Aries. So anybody who has placements there, it won't go direct until January 6, 2019. So this is where the planet of change and freedom switches to do deeper work on your inner space. Okay, so either to catch up with changes that have already occurred in the outer realms or to prepare you for future changes that are coming in the outer realms. Also on August 7th, we have a beautiful trine with Venus and Mars. So this is a great little boost here in the midst of some of the annoying aspects. We've got on August 8th, Venus opposing Chiron. So it's very likely to bring up some challenges involving love and money, and feeling like your self-esteem is off or feeling like a victim is more likely at this time. But of course, it always gives us opportunities to have breakthroughs as well. August 8th, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Leo, so you can have your creativity ignited. It can fuel romance, it can increase fun, it can also increase ego flares and battles, so just tread lightly on charged topics. August 9th, we've got we have Venus square Saturn. I don't know where July just came from. Anyway, so Venus square Saturn. Whenever Venus, the planet of love and beauty and money, comes together with Saturn, just sort of this hard-nosed, challenge bringer, especially in that type of configuration, it can bring money or relationship issues. So, the need for you to deal with them is going to be higher, but your inclination to avoid them is also going to be high. We've got another square on August 10th between the 10th and the 11th of Mercury and Jupiter. Whenever we have squares with Jupiter, Jupiter is a benevolent outer planet. So even the challenging aspects with Jupiter can be softer than squares with other planets. So it can bring a lot of optimism, but again, with that, like a tendency to overdo, like I have so much energy, I don't know what to do with myself, and then now I just burn myself out or something like that. So just kind of be aware of what you're committing to. August 11th, we've got a solar eclipse, new moon at almost 19 degrees of Leo. So this is time to make your 10 new moon wishes on the topics of Leo. So anything with children, creativity, romance, fun, hobbies, addictions, leadership, acting, anything else that puts all eyes on you. So new opportunities and major new chapters can come in from that eclipse. August 19th, we have this official trine between Jupiter in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. So again, this started at the end of December. There's some story that started at the end of 2017. It got strong again at the end of May, beginning of June. And then this is the final connection. So if you have any, especially water placements close to 15 degrees, but really anything that would aspect the 15 degrees there is going to more closely affect you. And you'll feel that trine for quite a while, a while before the 19th and a while after the 19th. August 25th, we have a grand Earth trine with the Sun in Virgo, Saturn in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus, and those are at 2 degrees. So if you have any planets at 2 degrees, especially, something that causes an astrological aspect with Earth in those signs, there's going to be more effects for you. August 14th through September 13th, we will very likely feel this beautiful effect. So launches and important things can be great. Even though we're kind of still doing a lot of retrograde energy, if you have to push in something at the end of August, beginning of September, you can ride the coattails of this trine while getting, Mars will be direct as of between the 26th and 28th. Mercury is already direct, so you'll have more momentum here and you might see some really beautiful things happen. August 27th, Mars is direct at 28 degrees of Capricorn. That post-shadow period stretches until October 10th, so it won't regain full oomph until then. But momentum and drive and ambition will definitely, for those of you where it was waning, it will very likely start to return, sometimes to the day. It'll be a little sleepy, but you'll feel something different, like something's waking up. So on August 27th or 28th, depending on your time zone, Mercury will square Jupiter again. We had that square earlier that I mentioned, but because Mercury was in retrograde, then it did it in retrograde, then when it went direct, it did it again. So just be careful of overcommitting. And if you can promise or commit to only a fraction of what you feel like you can do, then you'll be happier, because as time moves on from this moment, your optimism or the reality may set in. And if you commit to something from that high space, then it's going to be hard for you to pull it through. Okay, so these are the things that are most on my mind for the transits in August. Definitely, if you'd love to learn astrology, check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, for my astrology education options. If you'd like to be a coach as your profession, I would love to help you, teaching you my 6-step formula to getting results. I'm really good at setting and reaching goals, and I'd love to teach people how to do that for themselves and for other people too. If you'd like to bring your business online and have geographical freedom, you may be interested in my Creating Successful Online Business course, which you can also see at anniehelpsyou.com. Remember that if you would like a written horoscope from me, often with different things than I talk about in the video, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, you will see blogs featured from people, up-and-coming bloggers, also from myself, and my horoscopes are featured there. But there are a lot of different lifestyle blogs there that I think you will enjoy. So check that out. Go to my husband's website, IamHelios, IamHelios.com, to learn tarot. Also, he does astrology readings, tarot readings, and other cool things you can see on his site. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.